So now that Kennedy's kind of been humiliated during the Bay of Pigs, the Soviet Union's going to try to take advantage of this to kind of intimidate the United States. And what they do is in 1962, they are landing in Cuba and leaving missiles there with the blessing of Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro is buddy buddy with the leaders in charge. Now, this is going to worry the United States. Notice that capital city of Havana is only 90 miles off the southernmost tip of Florida and only 367 miles from the large city of Miami in Florida. The missiles that were being stationed in Cuba could travel 1,266 miles. So not only could these pretty much hit anywhere in Florida, they could hit almost all along the Gulf of Mexico, leading us to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So like I'd mentioned, by 1962, Soviet Union, under orders from leader Nikita Khrushchev, were stationing missiles in Cuba. Now, obviously, President Kennedy could not just let this happen. American lives were in danger. But this is the closest we're ever going to get to actual warfare with the Soviet Union. Remember, if America ever declared war on the Soviet Union, it would straight up be who's got the most nukes. Now, Kennedy is walking a fine line here because if he makes the slightest of mistakes, the world's going to end. So Kennedy's going to try to do diplomatic things. He's going to try to write letters, make phone calls, do whatever he can do. But ultimately, what the United States settles with is a blockade of Cuba. Let me illustrate what I mean by blockade. So as the Soviet Union is coming, America parks a bunch of warships all around Cuban waters. Now, Kennedy's whole thinking is to call them on their bluff, play a game of chicken, if you will. So the Soviet Union ships are going to get closer and closer and closer, but the United States ships are already manned there. So they get closer and closer and closer, and the world is literally one wrong move away from nuclear bombs going off. But as the Soviet missile-loaded ships approached, they start to turn around once they see the United States ships. Now, the United States is pretty happy. There's going to be a formal thing between the Soviet Union and the United States to agree to withdraw missiles from Cuba. As long as the Soviet Union withdraws missiles from Cuba, the United States agreed to withdraw their missiles from a country called Turkey. Now, Turkey was very, very close to Russia, so that's something the Soviet Union was worried about. Now, Kennedy landed a massive victory here. He had stood up to the Soviet Union, and even though we were 2 minutes away from midnight or nuclear holocaust, Kennedy, through his valiant leadership, managed to prevent this from happening.